You can also contact us directly by email at filmonfuckme.com. Let me try that again.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I see dead people.
Suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
It's alive!
Fear on Film.
Hey, I'm Sean,
And I'm Joe,
and welcome to the podcast.
where we talk about fear, jump scares,
Gory kills, the brutal, the gruesome,
and the not so gruesome.
all in the disturbed and morbid love for horror.
So welcome back, folks, to Fear on Film, our monthly dive into horror. Alrighty, Sean. Well, welcome back. How's it going?
It's going good, buddy. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's been quite a month. We've been, I actually haven't got around to see a lot of horror films this whole month. I mean, I just so busy, but I did get to catch Jaws on a big screen in IMAX.
Me too, buddy.
Oh my gosh. Well, what was your take on this off the bat?
Okay, full disclosure, I've seen Jaws a few times in the movie theater. The first time being when I was 6 years old in 1975. My parents took me. I was way too young, but that's what happened in the 70s. If the family wanted to go to the movies, you went. And it honestly is why I am talking to you tonight. It changed me. I mean, it changed me on a molecular level. And even though I was terrified, and we spent summers on the water, my parents used to rent a summer house out in West Hampton here on Long Island, and I spent the entire summer in the ocean. And it changed the way that I view the water. I think it gave me a healthy respect for the fact that you're a guest, essentially,
Right.
And sometimes an unwanted guest, so you have to respect that. You honestly have to respect any body of water because it's not your friend. It's you could easily die, so you just have to keep that in mind. Sorry to bum everybody out right off the bat, but back to Jaws, it really did just ignite a spark in me to chase that high of scares. I guess in a safe environment. I think I've told you this before, and the listeners may have heard it before, but in the multiverse of Sean's, there is still a 6-year-old Sean in that movie theater that will be screaming forever when Ben Gardner's head pops out of the hole in the hull of his boat. It's almost like if you saw Thunderbolts and the Sentry like flicked his hand and turned people into shadows. That's me in the movie theater, just a screaming shadow that will never stop screaming. And thank you, Steven Spielberg, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I never got to see it on the big screen, and this was my first big screen viewing, and I'd seen it easily a gazillion times on cable, on DVD, on VHS, and I adore this movie. This movie to me, it sparked something in me as well. It started my love and fascination with film. So it was the first step in getting, it's like, wow, this is something special. Something's going on here. And in that, that fuzzy feeling inside. And it was completed in 1977 for me with Star Wars. And I was all in at that point.
Yeah. How about that 1-2 punch 2 years apart? forget it. We were done.
Yeah, we had no chance, man. And watching it on the big screen to me was like watching it for the first time ever.
100%.
Yeah, and I got to see a lot of the nuances. I mean, I had just an idea of the characters and the relationship to one another, but you have these complex relationships. I mean, the film at the core is a relationship film. I mean, you have Brody, of course, and his wife. There's a relationship. Brody and the shark. Hooper and the shark. Quint and the shark. Hooper, Quint, and Brody relationship. And this is so many levels and about facing fears and seeking out vengeance in an Ahab kind of way, fascination with nature, yet not really fearing it and respecting it until you get face to face with it. Just a brilliant film. And I just got a whole new appreciation, if that was even possible, for Jaws.
I tell you, Joe, the IMAX experience was like seeing it for the first time because it's immersive, because the dimensions are just so galactically large.
Yeah.
So you see so much more of the frame. You really are placed in the movie. You're at sea with our three protagonists. I will say this though, a couple of notes. Everyone in Amity is so fucking old. Mrs. Kittner is like 70. And I'm like, it's impossible that Alex Kittner is your child.
Right?
Everyone on the periphery of the movie, if you see it in IMAX and you're looking at the crowd scenes, you're like, is anyone, they're either a child or they are in their 70s or 80s. I'm like, where are all the middle-aged people or the young people in this town? I mean, we get it in Jaws 2. I think they kind of course correct in Jaws 2, and they're like, for fuck's sake, could we get some teenagers in here?
You're right, actually. It's so funny, because if this movie were made today, there would be teenagers and hot chicks and hot dudes, running around, and it would be more of a youth-based kind of cast.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I think that's just an element of the time, I guess, that they didn't really think about it, marketing towards a specific demographic that is like, this is a movie. I mean, most movies in the 60s and 70s were older people. You didn't see young people like you. Well, there was I call them the motorcycle, quote unquote, movies back in the 70s, or the youth-based films. But most of the mainstream films were like older actors. And I guess they were just following that trend. So, but man, I can't tell you just how amazing it was an experience. And I and my wife, we jumped and screamed when Ben Gardner's head popped out of that boat in the bottom.
It's just, I mean, and the fact that they filmed that after the fact, because Spielberg wanted to, he felt that there was just a touch of a lull, between set pieces. And he's like, well, you know what? This is the perfect place to insert something. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, there's Ben Gardner, and it's one of the most iconic scares of all time. I just want to point out, because I'm the book guy,
mm-hmm.
Jaws is one of the few examples, along with The Godfather, where the movie is better than the book.
I fully agree. I read the novel, and novel was great. It was fantastic. But I think what the film did was really cut out a lot of the superfluous deadwood that was in the novel, like the extramarital affair that Brody's wife has with Hooper, and this whole, soap opera drama that was kind of like in the background, unnecessary. He cut it out, and Spielberg made this a lean, mean killing machine of a film. And I know it's thrown around so easily. Everybody says this, but this is a true masterpiece of a film.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. It's just, like I said, it's iconic. Go down in history as one of the best films ever made. It's so many number one films for so many cinema lovers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll hang out for 10 years. We'll see the 60th anniversary, the
right.
70th anniversary. But I highly recommend seeing it on the big screen. And if you have a chance to see it in IMAX, please go see it on the biggest screen possible.
I highly, highly agree. Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I have a coworker who's in his early 20s who never even seen this film. And he got more and more into watching older films because of us here on Fear and Film, and because of the Filmjoe podcast. Yeah, and it just so makes me proud. It really does, for what we've accomplished. And he saw this on the big screen. The first words out of his mouth when I saw him the next day, Quint was badass.
Quint is, look, I feel that when you're younger, you identify with Quint because he is badass.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older and you realize Quint essentially does everything wrong. Just everything.
Right.
His ego cashes checks that eventually get him eaten.
Yeah. Exactly. And like you said, the older you get, I identify more with Brody because I'm a father, I'm a family man. I have a career, a job. I have to provide and protect. So I identify more with Brody now. I'm sure when I was in my early mid-20s, maybe it was more Hooper. But that's what's great about this film is transgenerational. That different generations can identify to different aspects of this film.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, everybody likes to think they're a Quint. Everybody is a Brody. That's
exactly.
Putting it out there right now.
Absolutely. So folks, listeners, like Sean said, please go see this on the big screen. It is so worth it.
Absolutely. And Joe, if you don't mind, if I could just do a little shameless plug, I did a phenomenal conversation with author Nicole Wolverton, actor Amber Kloss, and director Mark Gottlieb over at Macabre Daily. It just posted today. And we talk about all of the studio films that came out that were fast-tracked after Jaws to try and capitalize on the heat of the blockbuster. And they're the good, bad, and the ugly. There are actually some really good films in there that we uncover. A lot of silly stuff, but we have a great conversation, and I hope everybody would head over there and check it out.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to check it out. And folks, head on over to Macabre Daily and check it out.
My guests are fantastic. I suck, but my guests are phenomenal.
No. No, you are an incredibly charming host, my friend.
Oh, please don't stop.
Alrighty, so what do you say we jump into our spectacular homework assignment that you gave me?
You got it, and I'm so thrilled to give you your new homework for next month. Okay, our homework for tonight was the abominable. I always have trouble saying that. The abominable Dr. Phibes. This was I chose this film because it's interesting for a couple of reasons. It was released by American International Pictures, which we know is associated with Roger Corman, and this was. I don't really want to get too into the weeds with AIP. We're going to be doing plenty of movies where we can talk about AIP and Roger Corman in particular. This was the UK division of AIP, specifically geared toward competing with the Hammer Horror and the Amicus Pictures and the Triton Pictures that were being released, the horror movies that were being released overseas, specifically in England, that were really resonating, for fuck's sake, resonating. Oh my goodness gracious. Former English teacher here, people. Resonating with American audiences. So AIP was like, you know what? How do we get ahead of this? Let's actually go overseas and open up a distribution arm over in England, over in the UK, and let's start using some of their people. And let's start using some of their actors, and directors and cinematographers. And there's diminishing returns, but you do get some great movies. Abominable Dr. Phibes being one of them. AIP wanted to give Vincent Price this property because he was basically their marquee actor. He had done almost the entire series of Poe films. Joe, honestly, he may have done all of them. I don't think he did Premature Burial. Anyway, but he's in damn near all of them, and he was the face of AIP, so he gets the role. Joseph Cotten is his antagonist. Interesting thing was The role was originally cast with Peter Cushing, but unfortunately, Peter Cushing's wife was ill and he had to drop out. They would, Price and Cushing would get together later on down the road in a movie called Madhouse. I think it was Madhouse. Maybe it's When the Screaming Stops. I don't know. Again, I'm very bad at my homework tonight, but they do eventually share screen time. So let me stop sucking all the oxygen out of the room. What was your impression of the film?
Okay. I remember this film, seeing clips of it. Again, we don't need to go into my chicken shit nature when I was a child, how scared I but I remember the commercials. I remember these playing on TV. I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. And I remember certain sequences, and so certain scenes, colors, characters, the makeup, fuck that, I wouldn't watch it. This is a beautiful, beautiful film. First of all, the Art Deco, the 20s Art Deco look to it is it's beautiful. It's fucking nightmare fuel, the way this is structured.
And Joe, at the time, they bashed it for it.
Really?
Yep.
Man, I loved. I was eating it up like linguine and clam sauce. This was fucking amazing. I mean, well, first of all, real quick, the plot is just, you got this doctor, scientist, organist, biblical scholar, Anton Fibes, and he's basically seeking revenge on 9 doctors that he believes were responsible for his wife's death because they couldn't save her life. So what he does, he uses the 10 plagues of Egypt as the biblical plagues as inspiration to kill these doctors one by one, and so, which was pretty clever,
right?
Yeah, and this is an early serial killer. I mean, serial killers weren't, the term was not used until like a couple of years later by an FBI profiler who developed the system of profiling and given the name serial killer. But this was a serial killer. That's who Dr. Fives was. It was creepy as hell. I mean, you know what? I'm watching this and it's like the 10 plagues of Egypt, biblical, and that's how he's doing his killings. Could we have called this film 10, as in 7?
Right.
Can we say that maybe 7 was somewhat inspired by this film? I believe so. Because what creepier way for a serial killer to use a biblical template to commit his killings, and that's what makes this terrifying. And I thought it was brilliant. I mean, you talk about further influences. You even have the influence of a movie like Saw, that was most likely inspired by this film as well, because at the end there's a scene where a doctor has to operate on his son. There's a key embedded in his chest next to his heart, and he has to surgically remove it before acid drops on his son and kills him. And it's almost like Saw as well.
This film definitely was inspiration for a lot of the horror directors that are working now. This is one of Edgar Wright's favorite films, and I would love to see him do a reimagining of the property, not a beat for beat, but just take the character and maybe take the concept and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart that it was panned at the time. It was successful enough that it did get a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And they were thinking about actually a trilogy. There was going to be The Bride of Dr. Fives, which
oh, wow.
Yeah, never came about, but that would have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But 71, just if I can, 71 was an interesting year for horror. A lot of it is coming from overseas. So you've got Twitch of the Death Nerve, otherwise known as A Bay of Blood. So you've got Mario Bava, fantastic film. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, Crucible of Terror, Blood on Satan's Claw, Blood and Lace, Hands of the Ripper, Let's Scare Jessica to Death, Black Belly of the Tarantula, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. You've got this fantastic cross-section of Italian and English horror that's really dominating the theaters at the time. So, like I said, AIP is like, oh, okay, how do we capitalize on this? And they start getting some of that overseas, mojo going. But I just kind of love 71. Not to forget, this is also the year that Spielberg releases Duel.
That's right.
Yeah. So like, but take a look at what's going on overseas. So we've got movies like The Blood on Satan's Claw and Fibes, and then we have Bay of Blood from Italy. In comparison, Duel is almost like Hitchcockian and also kind of chaste in comparison to what's going on screen in Europe, where there's a lot of this Art Deco design, and there's a lot of sexuality, and there's a lot of blood, and it's kind of visceral and exciting and a little bit mod. And I really love the direction that it goes. And then it kind of reaches a peak around 74 and then drops off a cliff in 75 when Jaws comes out, which we just talked about.
Right.
Because these films then, they're like, oh, shit, we can't compete with these mega blockbusters. So it's not that the intention wasn't there any longer. It's just the studios turned the money valve off. So as far as horror went, it kind of peters out around 75 with the introduction of the blockbuster. It goes tepid for just a beat. And then with Carpenter's Halloween in 78, it's like, shot heard around the world, my man. And it's back to the races. Not saying that there weren't really good horror movies between 75 and 78, but when Carpenter comes along and kicks off the indie horror scene, forget it. It's on.
Yeah. And, and all that, you were describing all these titles that you were mentioning from this, early 70s. I remember most of those titles, and most of these films were in the same vein as the film we're discussing real quick right now. And I'm watching this. I'm like, no wonder I was so fucking petrified of these films. It was nightmare fuel for little 8-year-old Joe. And it still is something that makes me uneasy now. But that's a good thing, because it's just weird and it's demented and it's creepy as hell. I mean, I loved it. And Vincent Price, again, the man. I mean, he was incredible in this.
Price is just, I mean, you know me. It's the trifecta of Price and Cushing and Lee.
Yeah.
And that is the holy trinity of horror from the 50s to the 70s. It's the body of work that these three actors have is incredible. Just want to throw out one other movie that I failed to mention, which is, and you're gonna, people are gonna laugh hearing this, but it's a movie called Hammer film called Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. The reason I bring it up is because, title aside, it is also one of Edgar Wright's favorite films. He copies a ton of mirror work from this movie for Last Night. What was it? Last Night in Soho, right? I have the title right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to watch this film. First off, it's got Martine Beswick in it, and she is luminous, and it's unbelievable, her performance. For a film where Dr. Jekyll turns into a woman, it's actually done incredibly well. It's a fantastic Hammer horror film, possibly one of the top 5 for sure. And silly title aside, which I actually kind of love, it's one of the best Hammer films out there. So I just wanted to make people aware of that as well. That came out in 71 too.
Wow. You know what? You piqued my interest there. That sounds really trippy. It really does.
Like I said, the title drives people away because they're like, come on, man. But it's a banger of a movie.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, there's been quite a few films like that I've come across. I'll see the title and I'm like, oh, this looks idiotic or sounds idiotic. And then I'll watch the movie and go, the film, it does not match the title because the film is actually really, really good. So I've come across that quite a bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, 71 has with the silliest title with Dr. Jekyll, Sister Hyde, and it has the best title of all time, which is Twitch of the Death Nerve. No film title will ever be better than Twitch of the Death Nerve. I'm putting it out there right now.
Okay, I got to look into that. All righty. So, so definitely an excellent pick as always, Sean. And it was a lot of fun. And it definitely was a throwback because remember the scene where he peels off his face and he has this really like burnt, face underneath. I remember that shot because I walked in, I had this uncanny ability to walk in at the wrong moment into the living room when this shit was on, and it freaked me out. I walked away. I'm like, nope, nope, and
Dude, I would pay money to see young Joe wet his friggin' underoos.
practically did, man. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, it was so creepy. And it still is. I think, there may be some people who disagree, but I think it still holds up. And, the ending was so poetically beautiful and tragic at the same time. Great film. Loved it, man. Loved it.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Are you ready for your next homework assignment?
Absolutely. What do you got for me?
All right, dude, we're going to do a cross-section of disaster film and horror movie with The Swarm, starring Michael Caine and Catherine Ross.
Oh shit! I saw this in the drive-in. No, in a movie theater when I was a kid. Oh, yeah. You know what? I can't wait to revisit this one. It's literally been about 40 years since I've seen this. 45 years easily. Oh man.
Look, I have not seen this film since the week it came out. I'm with you, Joe. Saw it in the theaters. I have not watched a frame of it. So we're going to see how it holds up, if it holds up, if it's a fun time. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Right. Oh, so am I. I mean, I have nothing but cool memories of that era of this, the early mid 70s with the disaster films, Earthquake, The Swarm, Meteorite, or was it Meteor? Yeah, it was Meteor. The airport movies. I love all that shit. I mean, I really, really do. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. It wasn't Carl Malden in that as well? Oh no, he was a Meteor.
He was definitely a Meteor, but dude, I don't know. Maybe he is in this one. We'll see.
Yeah. All righty. So look forward to that. Absolutely. So, Mr. Sean, you ready to jump into our creature presentation?
I am so ready, my man. All right, everybody. Spoiler warning. Beep boop. Beep boop. Beep boop. Joe and I learned the hard way from the first couple of episodes that we love nothing more than spoiling the movie immediately. So there's no warning. It is going to be spoiled right out of the gate. So if you haven't seen the film, go see it, come on back, and then enjoy the conversation. Or you know what? I believe in you. Why don't you just hang out, stay with us? We're going to talk about this film and spoil it, and we're going to save you $27 or however much a movie ticket
is. All righty. So before we roll that clip, why don't you tell our listeners about the film a little bit?
Okay. So it is directed by Mark Chavis, who directed the last installment, which was The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It, of course, stars Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga. It also stars Mia Tomlinson, which is interesting because she actually replaced the actor who had played Judy Warren in the previous films of the franchise. They felt that actor, even though she was 21, looked way too young to be getting married in this film. So she was recast, which kind of breaks my heart. But I mean, heyday for Mia Tomlinson, because I have a feeling that she's going to be the face of the franchise along with Ben Hardy going forward. Let me give everybody a little bit of a plot synopsis. So, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren take on their most disturbing case to date. Jack and Janet Smurl and their family move into a brand new home that they've always dreamed of, which turns into a nightmare as their home begins to show signs of demonic infestation. One of the things I love about the movie is the haunted house is in Piston, Pennsylvania, which looks like it's about 17 feet away from a refinery. I mean, the way they shoot the street in PA, you are expecting to see John Savage, Robert De Niro, and Christopher Walken from fucking Deer Hunter. I mean, it is so purposeful. It is so purposeful, that shot.
Mhm.
The shot of the refinery in the background and the street, I'm just like, this is Michael Cimino. Come on, man. But I loved it. I mean, look, I've got things to say about the film, but there are things that made me happy, and that was one of them.
Right. And actually, that refinery scene shot, yeah, I got something to say about that as well. Okay, so with that being said, what do you say we roll that clip?
Let's have at it.
Saint Michael, defend us. Be our safeguard against the devil.
In nomine Patris, et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus. By the power of our Lord Jesus Christ.
I don't know how to protect you this time.
Alrighty. So let's, before we continue, let's go ahead with a little production backstory on this one. So prior to the release of The Devil Made Me Do It, which I think is the third in the Conjuring timeline or whatever.
And the one that gets the boots put to it the most.
Yes, and deservingly so. Yeah. And so in June of 21, Michael Chavez, he commented in an interview with Empire on the possibility of future installments in the Conjuring series. And he stated that what The Devil Made Me Do It hopefully does is open up this new chapter for the Warrens. Soon after, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they expressed interest in coming back to the franchise. In October of 22, The Hollywood Reporter revealed that a fourth Conjuring film was in development, with David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick writing the screenplay, and James Wan and Peter Safran returning as producers. So prior to the release of The Nun 2 in September of 23, Chavez stated that work on the script was likely to continue, and he stated that the project was intended to be seen as the major quotes, air quotes, as a finale of the stories in the franchise that had come before. You see how they kind of left a little opening there for continuation? So it's not the final. And so by February 24th, Chavez was hired on once again to serve as director. Filming was scheduled to take place in London between September 10th and October 10th, but actually started by September 17th of 2024. Filming concluded November 22nd, 2024, and was released on September 5th, 2025. Okay, so real quick, like in speed reading, I'm going to just go over the quick legacy of this film. You have The Conjuring 2013, Annabelle 2014, Conjuring 2 2016, Annabelle Creation 2017, The Nun 2018, Annabelle Comes Home 2019, La Llorona, unofficial part of the saga 2019, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It in 21, The Nun Part 2 in 23, and this movie, The Last Rites, in 2025. So,
Joe, I gotta stop you there for a second. Isn't it the craziest thing? All right, this franchise has made $2.4 billion.
yes.
But the crazy thing is that you talk to horror people, and they don't necessarily think of it as like that kind of immersive franchise. With, I don't know how many films you just rattled off, a dozen?
Total about 10, actually, yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's interesting. Because people are like, oh yeah, the Annabelle movies, and yeah, they're connected to the, the Conjuring movies, but like nobody kind of views them as this one gigantic juggernaut, and it very much is. At 2.4 billion, it very much is. I was trying not to laugh out loud when you were saying Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga were expressing interest in coming back. I'm like, I wonder why? Because they airdropped scads of money all over your house. Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, like, I enjoyed the first one immensely, and I think it's probably my top 20 horror films of all time. But before we get into that, let's get your takes.
This is okay. Look, this is one of those films where it's not a disaster. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was meh, but there's so much, and this is what I'm going to talk about when we actually get into the film. There is so much skill and craft going on behind the scenes. The actors do a fine job. Everybody knows what film they're in. Everybody does a really good job with the script. You have you've got the screenwriters Goldberg, Nang, and McGoldrick.
Right.
They have they've written some poor scripts, but they do have some talent. I happen to think that The Autopsy of Jane Doe is a scary film.
Oh yeah.
So like there is definitely some skill there. This script is just, it's kind of lackluster, but here's the thing, Joe. This is a beautiful film to look at. It is shot so well. There is so much money behind this production that even though it slogs in the middle, I cut it into 3 acts. The first act is fantastic. The cold opening is edited like a fucking Paul Greengrass movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is just kinetic, and there's a vibe, and it's like the lighting is incredible, and there's genuine scares in the operating theater, and you're like, God damn, okay, Conjuring, you had my curiosity, now you have my interest, and it builds upon a story, and we get to spend some time with this family, the Smurl family in Pittsburgh, and we spend a good amount of time with them. So it's not like a gloss over.
Mm-hmm.
You get a feeling of who they are. There's an interesting dynamic between the 2 teenage sisters. It's fun. They're wise asses toward each other, and they're always fighting, which is very real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're setting up a family dynamic just like we did in The Conjuring, where these people come off as real.
You're right. This is not a horrible film, but it's not a great film either. It's far from. I mean, this is almost like a fine-tuned Ferrari being driven by a 4-year-old on a gravel road.
And isn't that heartbreaking, though, Joe? Because you see the skill behind the camera. You see what's there and the money that's attached to it. And everybody, we talk about money and it's like, oh, gross, what are you doing? But if you want something to look good, in a production to look good, you have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. There's so much money behind this production. The shots are great. The lighting's great. The editing's great. The production, set direction is great. Everything is top notch. But to your point, Joe, it's less than because of the script.
Yeah, the script. But you know what? Even a bad script you can overcome a bad script. And I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, where the source of this train wreck is.
Ooh, what?
I hate to put the boots, but you know me, I can be an asshole, and I'm going to be an asshole right now.
Let me hear it.
Michael Chavez.
Oh, I'm with you, buddy. No, yes, you're right.
Yeah, Chavez, he directed the majority of these films, 4 of them actually, and arguably the worst. The Nun 2,
yep.
The Devil Made Me Do It, and this one, and La Llorona, which was god awful. And so, he's the 4-year-old behind the wheel of this finely tuned vehicle. And a good director can overcome a shit script or a lackluster script. I've seen it before several times. And it's all about interpretation. And that's what a director is. A director is an interpreter of the written word on the page. And, a great director can make a shit script look beautiful. And vice versa. Look, like you mentioned an episode or 2 ago, Jaws 3D, great script, shit director. And so, I think that right there is the point. I didn't like the whole character intro personally. I thought it was extendedly long. It was too much going on. All these characters being introduced. It was overly saccharine, cheesy. It felt cookie.
Easily lost the grandparents to trim that down.
Yes. I mean, and also cookie cutter. It was almost stagey and look how wonderful and happy we are. And, the whole interaction for me with the kids, the brothers and sisters and siblings fighting and shit, there's only one director that I know of that really kind of captured that cacophony with precision and beauty, family and siblings and mom and dad. And that's Steven Spielberg in Close Encounters, Jaws, E.T. And I'm going to go over another, a couple of reasons why I think this director, like I said, God bless him. He's getting to do what he loves. He's living the dream, and I'm so happy for him. but I'm sorry, he's not a good director. And it shows. There's a couple of things I'm going to circle back to why, his desperation to prove what a great director he is.
He's so lucky that he had the people behind the scenes that he did to produce what we eventually get, which is just like, fair to middling. It's an okay movie,
Yeah.
The thing about it is, and this is assumption, so forgive me, everybody. This guy brings results. He probably, he shoots quick. He probably shoots cheap. He comes in on time. There's not extensive reshoots. And he, on the spreadsheet, all the numbers align. And then on the returns, all the numbers are in the black. So like they keep giving this poor director jobs, time and time again, because he can deliver results. Those results being cold, hard dollars.
Yeah.
I don't like it. You don't like it. No one listening likes that. We want a good movie. But this guy brings for this. He gives the stakeholders what they want. So that's what sucks about a franchise like this. There's no there, and it boggles the mind with someone like James Wan attached to it.
Yeah,
because you would think that they would give somebody who had done an incredible indie film, instead of giving them a fucking Marvel movie, give them an installment in this franchise. And I know there are installments in this franchise where they've done exactly that and it hasn't worked. Okay, just try it again. Instead of giving this guy another piece of the pie, try something different.
Yeah, because I love James Wan's work. I mean, Saw, Dead Silence, even Insidious was pretty decent.
Oh, you look, Malignant. I will fight people who don't like Malignant. I love that movie.
Yeah, although Fast and Furious 7, let's just move along because that's just a train wreck. But
Nothing to see here.
Or you want to get even worse? I mean, Aquaman. But
oh my God, I felt that in my kidneys.
But yeah, you're right. Give the guy, what? Pony up some cash, give it to him, direct it, because he's proven, But again, Hollywood doesn't see talent as, this movie did well because he's a proven talent. No, in this case with Chavez, he's a proven moneymaker. He knows. I mean, you know what? Credit to him. He knows how to bring in those dollars and what audience he's pandering to.
Joe, can I just, to that point, let me just insert this here. This is like an algorithm movie. They test audience this to death, and they cherry pick what has tested well in the previous films in the franchise. There are 15. I'm going to repeat that. There are 15 producers on this film.
Jesus.
This is filmmaking by committee, which does not produce. I'm not saying that it's all the time, but tends to lean into less than results when you have that many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, and the sad part about this, they say, yeah, this is the end of the Warrens, but this saga in one form or another will continue. I mean, fuck, with an $80 million+ opening weekend. Yeah, we're gonna get, we're gonna see Tony and Judy come back in another Conjuring film.
Can I ask you a question though, Joe? Because give me your honest gut feeling on this. Okay, so it does what? It does 194 million worldwide. It's the highest opening for a horror movie ever, beating Chapter 1 at 190 million worldwide. Do you think for a second that they're going to let Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga go?
Absolutely fucking not. They're going to be brought back in, I'm predicting right now, in flashbacks. They're the legacy characters in this thing. And so, yeah, no, absolutely. They're going to be brought back, and it's going to be cheap. It's going to be gimmicky, just like this movie was with its cameos and callbacks. But you know what? Overall, on one hand, this movie kind of infuriated me because it really was not, I don't like wasting my time on a bad film, but it's good to watch bad films.
Dude, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Yeah. On the other hand, this is good for the genre of horror. It helps continue to solidify the genre that we love so much. And Hollywood will, based on this, continue to churn out original great stuff, and the indies will keep coming at it. So it's good for the genre.
For that, I appreciate it. You actually, Joe, that's a very succinct point, that we'll take the wins where we can get them, even if we don't like the film. We'll
Right.
take the wins where we can get them. I mean, 194 million for a horror movie is going to do a hell of a lot for the genre. So great point.
And now I want to get back to, you mentioned the refinery scene where you see the house and then the refinery in the
Yeah.
background, which was so reminiscent of Michael Cimino's masterpiece, The Deer Hunter. That was a desperate grab, in my opinion, or maybe a pretentious grab. He's sitting there going, I am that good a filmmaker that I can pay homage. Oh, fuck it. It was a desperate grab to make yourself feel good and look good. I know that's being mean.
Here's where I'm going to call you out, my friend. And you know I love you, but here's
Right.
where I'm going to call you out. The median age of people that saw this film probably anywhere from 14 to 23. If you think for a second they know what the fuck The Deer Hunter is.
Okay, fair point. But from old man Joe over here, I thought it was bad. It was just it was so desperate. And I'm gonna go further. Back. The Hall of Mirrors. I mean, come on. Orson Welles back in 47 did that with Lady from Shanghai. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon in 73, which were done in a masterful way. And we're talking about a scene where Judy is trying on her wedding dress and she has all these mirrors around her. I mean, he'll do the whole play with one of them. Her reflection doesn't match and doesn't creepy shit. And you know what? Don't. Please. It's an insult to cinephiles like myself. Of course, like you said, to the youngsters out there watching and go, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, it is, but it just shows that Chavez was kind of digging into the well and trying to use devices and gimmicks that we use in much more.
Yeah, he shows his ass a couple of times in this movie for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we definitely, we're going to see more of these films, and if they do well, fine. But to me, the movie was just an embarrassment. I feel embarrassed for the filmmakers, and overall, it was just cheap and gimmicky. Luckily, I have AMC Plus or whatever, or an AMC premium thing where you pay a flat fee a month and you get to see as many movies.
So do I, bud.
Oh, there you go. So we saw this for free, basically. So
we did. All right. Now, I was a super nerd, and I brought my notebook and I brought my pen into the movie theater. And I was like, can I just? I didn't write down too many notes because I kind of knew what I was in for after like the first 25 minutes. But can I read some of my notes, and I want your reaction?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so the first one I already said, this movie is 30 minutes too long. If they made it a tight hour and 45, some real judicious cuts, tighten up the narrative, it wouldn't be a great movie, but it could come out to be a good-ish movie.
Okay.
First third, I didn't have a problem with. The second, the middle is sluggish as hell. That entire mirror scene. First off, why is Judy being haunted at the bridal shop? There's no haunted trinket with her. There's no like, is Judy haunted? Like, I don't. But let's stick a pin in that for 1 second because I want to get to that. Don't need Judy being haunted or tormented by. And then I wrote whatever. And this leads me to my second. My fourth point was, who the fuck was the demon manipulating the spirits? Because that is what Elizabeth Warren says. The spirits in the house are being manipulated by a demon. And then Annabelle shows up and then turns into a giant doll, but then absolutely goes away. And then there's still more haunting. And they just conveniently, unless I missed it, and it's completely possible, there is no definitive answer to what the fuck is happening.
Well, that's the thing. You're bringing up amazing points that are mirroring where what I felt about this. I mean, I like paranormal studies. First of all, what happened to her in the Hall of Mirrors, that would suggest an attachment haunting. But that's never mentioned, which is a spirit attaches itself to a living person. But that's not the case. As far as the background in history of the demon What kind of demon? Who is this demon? I mean, come on. Look at the Ghostbusters, 1980, 84, Gozer. He was this demon and he was the ruler of this and the ruler of that. And he wanted to do this and he had a legacy and a prophecy. You get the background and hence you get a motivation for this unseen terror. There's none of that here. And especially the fact that, Mr. Warren is supposed to be a demonologist. All he does is walk around with the Bible and reading scripture and throwing holy water around. He's not sitting there studying and saying, this is, you know what I mean? It adds depth. And there was none in that aspect.
You bring me to my fifth point. I only have 6. So everyone who's listening now is like, how many points does this fucking guy have? The choice of Patrick Wilson to have a heart condition is so bad. Patrick Wilson is in such great shape and looks like he is going to star in Bloodsport Part 5. Patrick Wilson then makes a decision as an actor. Oh, my character has a heart condition and I'm older now, and his age is very much front of mind and brought up numerous times in the film. And I'm like, this guy still looks like he's 35.
Right.
So they don't age him up at all. And he doesn't, as an actor, make a choice to, you know what, I'm going to put on 25 pounds for the role. Patrick Stewart looks jacked as fuck, like he always does. He's handsome as hell. He's ageless. And they try and make him become this like doddering, I'm having another heart attack. And for fuck's sake, filmmakers, hear my words. Because I am going to come in with fists of fury. If you ever fucking do a scene ever again where someone opens up a box of nitrate tablets and spills them, I'm fucking going to hit you. Right in your face, I'm going to hit you. We need to get rid of that trope in all genres. When someone shakily spills all their little nitrous heart attack save me pills, which I'm not even sure that that's the way it works. So it makes me insane. It makes me insane when I see that. And then he gets one little tic tac and pops it in. And then the next scene, he's essentially kick fighting the demon. And I'm like, well, where do I get one of these like magic nitro tablets?
Oh my God. You know what? I can't agree with you more than, 100%. It's ridiculous. It really is. It goes from kind of silly to just outright ridiculous with these kind of elements. And so with that, it lacks depth. It's not scary. The creep, I can appreciate a good jump scare, but if it builds, if they earn it, the slow creep. Oh shit, this is creepy.
Well, Joe, can I ask you flat out? Can I ask you a question? Does this movie have any scares?
No, none at all. It has a lot of laughs.
And you nailed it when you said the schmaltz factor, which look, I'm gonna cop to it. That kind, being a dad and a husband, that stuff works on me. But I recognize it for what it is. There's so much schmaltz in this movie. Oh my goodness. It's like, when when you're spackling and you have the little spackler tool and you're like, nah, man, I need the big one. That's what in this movie.
Yeah. Overall, I love a good religious based thriller and horror film because like me, for example, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I have issues with the institution of religion. I have faith. It's big difference that people don't, separate the two. There's faith and there's religion. And I believe. And for people like me, this is great shit. The Exorcist still will make me, soil my underoos to this day. The Omen. These are great films. So I love, because there's a lot of, Bible thumping right wing, extremist Christians that say, oh, that's such an abomination. That's such disrespect. Really, no, you know what? Really, for the non-religious, it's a great thrill. For the religious, it's a reaffirmation of their faith. That's how I see it.
Well, to the religious extremists, I say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. It's like, if you don't believe you're going to hell, well, fuck off. I'll see you there.
Hell for me would be like I'm in a 8x10 coffee break room, and it's just full of them. That would be hell for me.
Oh my God, yeah. So yeah, I mean, and I think they do pervert faith because again, they blur that line for our society and our culture that religion and faith are the same. It's all bullshit. No, there's faith, man, and that's a different thing than religion. And which brings me to the point: the Warrens, the real life scumbags that they were
They're very bad, Joe. Oh, they're very bad.
Yeah, they were bad people, and they exploited people's faith. They exploited religion, and that's where the evil of man comes in. When they take something as powerful as a human being's faith and use it against them or for their benefit.
But that's my last note, was that their title card at the end, where they laud the Warrens' contribution to parapsychology, and I'm like, how about don't? How about, this guy started allegedly, I have to say allegedly, so Fear on Film doesn't get sued, started a relationship with a 15-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that girl lived with him for 4 decades. To people that are bad at math, that's 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's gross as hell. He
Mm-hmm.
was allegedly, physically and mentally abusive to Elizabeth Warren. Just absolutely a huckster, a con man, both of them. And yeah, there are a lot of people in the parapsychology world who do great work, love what they do, and don't have to fucking rip people off or abuse people to do it. So I think they're actually a stain on the community. And to put that goddamn title card at the end, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me with this? So that upset me.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I'm able to separate fact from fiction when necessary. The first Conjuring, I can still watch it and that won't come into mind because it's such a well-structured horror film. It delivers the goods and it's fun roller coaster ride. It's a fun house ride.
Joe, you nailed it. I'm with you. I can separate the art from the artist. When the director and the producers decide to put a title card that says like Roman Polanski is an essential piece of cinematic history and we love him and what he's done, then you're taking the piss and you've crossed the line. I can separate art from the art from the artist. I can do that. But when then you're making it real by lauding the actual people in a title card, and we know the truth of it, and it has been reported on extensively, it's like, what? It's just gross. It's just gross.
No, it's despicable. It really is. And I think that's, aside from the artistic or lack thereof qualities of this film, you throw that on there, and I try not to let that, affect my rating. And I don't think I did. But if I were to put that that scene within the film and allow that to drive my score, it'd be 3 points lower if I were to add that title card sequence at the end. Because it was insulting. It really, really was. So
I'm with you. I'm with you, bud. Hey, look. It was inevitable that eventually you and I would come up against a film that we're doing as the centerpiece of our recording that we didn't really love.
I'd have to. This is the polar opposite. This is the yin to the yang to Sinners for us on the show.
How about Weapons, Sinners, Dangerous Animals? 28 years later, dude, we've been on a rip.
Yeah, and then we hit this, but you know what? It's still fun to dive into. My wife one time asked me, why do you watch such shit movies, some really bad films? And I admit, I told her I do watch bad films, but there's a reason, because you have to, a bad film is great to dissect what didn't work, how it didn't work, and you're able to identify those things when you're looking at a great film. You see that contrast. It's like, would you do an autopsy on a healthy body or a sick body? You're going to learn more off the sick body.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. No, it's look, it's all an experience, and we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm thinking I'm not going to get suckered into another one of these movies, but who knows? We may find ourselves in one of those months where we got to cover it. So,
Yes, we will. We will absolutely get suckered into more of these.
all righty. So, what do you say we get into our ratings on this one? This is going to be interesting. All right. So, we're going to do on our fright meter scale of 1 to 10 bottles of holy water.
Okay, I'm going to give it 3 bottles of holy water, and I'll tell you why. It earns 3 because of the director of photography. I believe his name is Eli Bourne. He's the DP for movies like No One Can Save You, Super Dark Times, Companion, the last Hellraiser that came out, which wasn't a great movie, but it looked gorgeous.
Mhm.
This guy shoots gorgeous scenes. So I was bored with the script, but visually I was always engaged because of the way this guy sets up shots and his shot composition. That's saying a lot. So he gets 3 bottles of holy water.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with a 4 out of 10. Yeah. And for the same reasons. I mean, visually, it was beautiful. It was the camera work was really, really impressive.
Never bored, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. It keeps moving. It takes you from here to there. The cast, they were great. They did an amazing job with what they had. It's comparable to who was in the Crow remake? What was his name? Skarsgård.
Oh yeah.
Which was an abomination of a film. I gave it a fair shake, but it was an abomination. He was great in it. He did the best he could with the material he had. And I think that goes to, the same here with the cast that we have. They did what they came in to do. They took it seriously, and they did a really good job. And hats off to them. I mean, they had shit material to work with, but they did a good job. So cinematography, camera work, the cast. So for me, that's why this film gets 4 out of 10 bottles of holy water.
All right. Yeah, no, the craft is there, dude. We can't fault them for that. And these films, they look great because of, like I said, the money they spend to make the movie and the people they hire behind the scenes. They really do incredible work. So I just wish we had a better script and a better director.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so now next month we got something very special planned. Yes. What season is it, Sean? What season?
Spooky season, Halloween.
So we're going to break tradition, and we're not going to be covering. A big film. What we're going to do, you're sitting there and you're wondering, wow, it's Halloween. We got to watch a movie. What do we watch? And as easy as that sounds, it's really not, especially if you are a horrorphile. And if you're not, it's probably just as hard. So, right? So Sean and I, we're going to bring you guys some suggestions. Now, this is not a top 5 best but more of our favorites and our top 5 picks and recommendations for Halloween. And we're going to throw in some classics and some not so classics. And we're going to give you a bonus number 6, which would be an anthology horror film.
Hey, dude, we never agreed on classics and not classics. 4 of my picks are Paddington 2. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Paddington 2 was not all that bad, actually.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite movies. Don't you dare disparage Paddington 2.
So that's what we got cooked up for you guys next month. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
All right, this is Joe. Just to let you know how I'm coming at this, I am viewing it as it is Halloween night, and I am put in charge at the local movie theater of putting together a 5-film fest, and then, like you said, then one anthology to cap it off, or maybe begin. So that's the way, because the 5 that I'm going to pick are going to have there's going to be a flow to it. It's not just going to be like, here's 5 movies. I'm looking at it like a good vibe. I got to keep that vibe going. So just want to let you know that's how I'm going to do it.
I love it. Sean being the DJ and putting on the hits and keeping us moving.
Stab, 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 stab.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, folks, make sure you tune in and check us out next month. And so what do you say we start winding this one down, sir?
Sounds good, buddy. This one was a quickie. This was a one and done tonight. But you know what? We don't need to drag out the Conjuring Last Rites any longer.
Exactly. So thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you enjoyed the show.
Please help to support the podcast by giving us a 5-star rating and leave a good review. Or another way to support us is subscribe and follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your horror podcast fix.
And you can also catch me on my other podcast, the Filmjoe Podcast, on all the same platforms, which unfortunately came to an end a couple weeks ago. But it's still on for you to listen to. You can listen to it's like 5 seasons to listen to, so check it out.
I highly recommend everybody listening just go all the way back to episode number 1 of the Filmjoe Podcast and just have at it. They're so freaking good. With that said, you can find me at Sean OC32 on Instagram, and I'm also at Macabre Daily. And Joe, I don't even know if I told you this, my buddy, but I took over the role. Matt Orozco offered me the role of managing editor, and I accepted. So I am now the managing editor of Macabre Daily.
Well, congratulations! I'm so happy to hear. Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, Matt's the friggin' best. Love working with everybody there, and I'm just having the time of my life. It's like Dirty Dancing.
Man, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That is great. And also, don't forget, you can also catch us. Check us out. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, and YouTube, where we have all of our regular episodes drop as well. All of this good stuff, you can find it in the LinkTree link below in the show notes.
You can also contact us directly by email at fearonfilmpod@gmail.com. We'd love to get some feedback, only if it's good, because I'll cry if it's not.
So, with that being said, I'm Joe.
And I'm Sean.
And this is Fear on Film,
where horror lives. Wow! That was lightning. Wow!